This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Coming up next on Plains FM is Find Your Bliss.
Good morning, Bliss lovers. Welcome to the Find Your Bliss show here on Plains FM, broadcasting to you live from the studio, also on Facebook on the Intuitive Life Academy page. So welcome to the show, folks. I'm really excited to be talking to today's topic because it is a very juicy one, which is essentially activating your inner sacred feminine goddess. Why do we want to do this? To activate abundance in our life in a whole different way. Just give me a sec, folks. I'm going to adjust my microphone. There we go. First of all, though, before we get started today, and in honouring of the sacred feminine as well, because of course, what does the feminine do? It loves to adorn itself. I just want to do a shout out to Clodagh Farrell. She made these beautiful earrings. I'm actually putting them on camera on Facebook as I'm broadcasting live. Aren't they gorgeous? These ones are actually black with some little round circles up the top with some tassels as well. I absolutely love them. I won them in a competition. So if you're interested in checking these out, I would encourage you to go to, it's at Instagram, and Instagram, so stolen_paradise_x, and you can follow Clodagh and check out her beautiful earrings. Very inexpensive, gorgeous, as you can see. Obviously, I've taken them off because I've got the headphones on for the studio, but I was absolutely thrilled to be in a competition and manifest and win these. So thank you very much, Clodagh. I'm thrilled with them. She has a store on Etsy, and of course, at this time, folks, it's really important for us to be aware, A, Christmas is coming, and B, it's really important to shop local. So if you want some talented, beautiful earrings from the wonderful Clodagh, go and check her out. Again, stolen_paradise_x on Instagram. So thrilled to be wearing those today, especially when we're talking about activating the sacred feminine in regards to shifting our perspective of abundance. And so probably the best place to start with this, folks, is to kind of give you a little bit of background in regards to my journey with these kind of energies. And, you know, once upon a time, I worked in corporate, as everybody knows, and it was very masculine energy. Right, you know, it felt a bit like a boys' club. It felt like men were the leaders. It felt like, you know, an old paradigm. You know, we can get into the patriarchy, obviously, and that will come up in terms of talking about this because it's super important. It felt like I had to wear armour. It felt like I had to be in masculine energy to be able to do my job. So what happened, of course, when I left the banking world and then started going into coaching, I was actually taking a lot of those energies with me and operating from that model. Now, so what is masculine energy? Just as a brief overview, masculine energy is super important as an entrepreneur. You need to put yourself out there. You need to make things happen. You need to take action. The masculine energy is really the container for the feminine. So we need to have that foundation in place. You have to activate your masculine energy if you want to be in business. It's imperative. You have to do both, right? So I was operating predominantly from that masculine, right? What's next? What's on the to-do list? How do we drive the business forward? Where do I need to put myself out there? What needs to be moved? How do I climb this mountain? But as you can see, which is, you know, masculine energy in men is super attractive, right? Drive, momentum, power, the force to overcome any obstacle or challenge or to keep going, the motivation to do that, the strength, the courage, the resilience that it takes. But obviously, as a woman, if you're predominantly in that energy all the time, you're going to burn out. You're going to end up feeling resentful. You're going to feel like you're in the masculine rather than the feminine. And as a woman, that's not ideal. So recognizing that in regards to, and when you're in business and you're doing something like a launch, which is probably where this energy has probably shown up the most for me, like pushing, striving, reaching, it can end up feeling like a grind. It can end up feeling hard and heavy, and you can end up blowing out your adrenals massively and ending up burning out. And I think a lot of women who have been in business to start with, you can be very excited and enthusiastic and like, I want to make this happen and this is my big dream and goal and I'm so excited about it. But if we're operating essentially from that masculine energy, invariably it's going to be taxing on us. We're not going to be in balance. We're out of balance. And we're also operating from energy that doesn't necessarily serve us. So the shift, of course, occurs when we go, okay, well, how do I move into more feminine energy? And what does feminine energy look like? It looks like I can attract. I don't have to chase. I can stay in flow and stay in the energy of receptivity. I can be open and allow my energy to do a lot of the, not heavy lifting as such, but a lot of the work, shall we say, for you, because you're radiating and working on your vibration and frequency to allow that energy to really come into your life and world. So it's kind of like a recalibration. But to be able to do this, to operate from feminine and to actually have attraction occur, of course we need to be aware of the masculine and feminine within us, but we also need to do what it takes to overcome our fear. And how does this work? Because when a woman, historically speaking, when a woman has really been in her divine, feminine, goddess, beautiful, expanded energy, she's full of light. She's radiating. She attracts people to her. Now, of course, that can be frightening because if we attract something that we don't want, or we attract something that makes us feel fearful, or we open up our energy and too much energy comes in. I remember with a client once, and she was like, well, what if I attract something that I don't want? So this is also too, right, where we need to learn what it is to attract, but to be very aware of our boundaries and our standards, and also anywhere we're putting up a barrier. And we can often place energetic barriers in our energy field because we don't feel safe, also known as defense mechanisms. I've talked about this a lot before, right? Your top 3 chakras in your body, your crown, your third eye, your throat, being your connection to source energy. Obviously, you need to open them up to get intuitive guidance and wisdom. And again, coming down into the heart space, which is the center point. Moving down into the bottom 3 chakras, for women especially, the solar plexus, your ability to be able to move forward and make your dreams come true. Your sacral chakra, which is all about sexuality, sensuality, pleasure, which again, women can often get distorted with in terms of their desires. And moving down into the root, right? We need to be open in those bottom 3 chakras to be able to manifest effortlessly. And this is where we can go into quite a bit of distortion. Yay. Lisa's saying, I'd love to move more into my feminine energy, attract for business. Yes, right? As opposed to being in that space of feeling like you have to pursue it, which inevitably, after an extended period of time, can feel more masculine. It can feel like, I've got to go out and find another client, or I've got to go out and make this happen, as opposed to being in that space of what does it take to attract it, because we're in a vibration. So a lot of people misconceive that abundance is a frequency, right? If you keep on tuning into it, and abundance isn't just about having cash in the bank and clients, right? It's about trusting in the universe. It's about knowing yourself as the creator, right? Anybody can manifest money. Money doesn't bring you joy. Money doesn't bring you fulfillment. Money doesn't bring you what it is that you really want. What you want is the feeling that comes from knowing yourself as the creator. When you look at your manifestations and can go, I have created this, and that brings you such an immense feeling of fulfillment, knowing yourself as the creator, essentially knowing yourself as the universe. And if you're looking at it from the universal perspective, if I'm knowing myself as God, if I'm knowing myself as the universe, there's no way that I would put a limitation on myself. It wouldn't even occur to me to limit myself in any way, shape or form. The universe isn't sitting there going, oh, I can have $100,000, but I can't have $1 million, or I can impact 10 people versus 100,000 or 100 million people. The universe doesn't even think like that, right? It is just operating from expansion. What else is possible? What else is possible to create here? What is an idea that comes from source energy that I can implement and embody and put out into the world and then have a positive impact and a positive ripple? And I get it though, because it's kind of like a rite of passage. I've seen a lot of female entrepreneurs who go through that process of being in the masculine, and then they get to a point where they're like, this is not sustainable. You know, I've even done that myself. My last launch, I was very aware of staying in the energy of receptivity. So what does that mean? It means that everything that I was doing for the launch, I was like, I am not pushing, right? I am staying in the energy of being open. I'm detached to the outcome because that can feel needy and graspy, and that contracts your energy. So I'm really open and I'm allowing the universe to move through me, and I'm seeing what shows up, and I am grateful for what shows up. I'm not sitting in fear. I'm not sitting in there in judgment of how many numbers do I have or what do I need to do next to get more numbers, right? Like that panic or shock we can do to ourselves, right? I stayed in the energy of, and also too, one thing that I actually had on my side, folks, which I wouldn't recommend, was I was actually quite tired. Right, so I did not have the energy to push. My body was just like, nah, it's not going to happen. Right, you don't have the ability. I probably contacted maybe 2 or 3 people and said, hey, I think that you would be an ideal fit for this. But that was about it. Apart from that, I let all the energy in the creation of the launch speak for itself. So, you know, there was no hustle, there was no grind. There was a formula to follow. There was like, yes, I need to send this email out on this day, but I concentrated my energy and focus on staying open. And I get that this is not always easy, especially with the solar plexus, the sacral chakra and the root chakra. You know, if you've experienced some form of trespass, whether that's been physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, it can often for women get held in these 3 chakras. You know, that feeling of not being safe, that feeling of like I need to shut my energy down so I can feel safe, that feeling of I need to shut my sexual energy down so I can be safe. Because often this has happened, historically speaking, when women are radiating a lot of light. Of course they're attracting, right, like moths to the flame. And then what can happen is people can want to pinch the light, right? They want to pinch the sexual energy. They want to take from the light, as opposed to realizing that they have their own light within them. And it's their job, right? And if the person, the woman who is in the energy of attraction and radiation is realizing that, she will give people back to themselves by saying, you have this within you as well. You don't need to take from somebody else. You can activate this energy within yourself. And men and women, right? We both have masculine and feminine energy within us. So, and again, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who has assimilated and embodied her masculine energy in such a way that it's natural, it's comfortable, she knows what to do, she doesn't take any BS, right? She takes action, she gets stuff done, but she's relaxed about it, right? She's like, yeah, I can do that, I can make that happen. How do you know these people? When you are with them, they are present. They are with you because they know that they can take care of things. They're not in distortion where they're like sitting there looking at you, talking to you and thinking about their to-do list. You can feel their presence. You can feel their authenticity. And that's a really beautiful place to cultivate more feminine energy. So, you know, you might be noticing that yourself. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a guide, if you're a coach, if you're a leader, you might be getting to that point where you're like, you know what, I really want to do this from the feminine. And how do we start doing this? We have to start being very aware of where we're still living in a 3D reality. So what is a 3D reality? You know, it's your day-to-day rational life and world. The bridge really is 4th dimension. The bridge is really where we start learning that there's an alternative, right? The bridge is where we start embodying higher frequencies of energy. We start developing our intuition. We start being more aware. We start showing up for a daily practice. We start asking the universe to show us what's possible in terms of opening up our energy, pouring more light frequencies into our body, and expanding our energy out. Because you think about it, folks, if you want to create more abundance in your life and world, you need to have a bigger container so you can hold more space for people. And you know what's really interesting looking back for me is like, my mind would often be like, oh, I want to get so many people for this program, right? Maybe it's like 50 people when I was first starting out, but realizing that my energy could literally only hold space for about 10 because that's where I was calibrated. So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like how your mind can end up making you wrong because you haven't developed your own inner energy to be able to hold space and therefore have the container to be able to hold that many people. Because people, especially when you're dealing with people and the intuitive work is, you go deep, right? You're looking at the shadow, you're looking at all the contraction. So you need to have been calibrated within yourself to be able to hold space for people to move through that. And it does have an impact on your central nervous system and your energy. So again, recognizing that. Excuse me. Where are you at in terms of your own container? And you'll be able to recognize that from where you're at in your business. And what does it take to invite in more support from divine frequencies? So how do we do this? We keep on starting to show up for our intuition. We code frequencies of abundance through our body, right? We let go of anywhere we're giving our power away, anywhere we have energy leaks, okay? Anywhere we're going yes when we want to say no. Excuse me, that's one of the things that's imperative, is to learn what your standard and your boundaries are. And a boundary is not a barrier. A barrier is like no, disconnect, not unity. Whereas a boundary is really like, I can feel like if I move beyond that, then it's going into a no for me. We want to stay in the energy of yes. We want to stay in the energy of being very aware of what feels good for us. And constantly doing that from our intuitive self rather than from our rational mind. Because the rational mind, especially if we're learning to shift from masculine into feminine, the rational mind can go, oh yeah, I should just do that. Or that would be really helpful to help them out. Or, feeling guilty if somebody's asked you to do something, checking inside, right? Because this is what the rational mind does. It goes yes or no. When you're learning to shift, you might go, can I have some time to think about it? But when you're in your intuitive space, you'll check inside yourself and go, is this a yes for me? Do I feel it in my body and in my energy fields that it's a yes? Instead of just going bang and making a decision, right? You're coming back and you're trusting the awareness of your intuition and your body to guide you. So and you can see how this extrapolates out, right? When we're using the bridge, the fourth dimension of learning, embodying, and taking the energy into our body, we're tuning into fifth dimensional energy. So what is fifth dimensional energy? It's living from your heart space. It's living from Christ consciousness. And there's multiple dimensions beyond that, but this is the one that people often talk about because, of course, this is where we can expand our frequency so much and be in those heart-centered energies and know what it is to feel more bliss and freedom in our body. And I can tell you one thing right now, folks, one of the fastest ways to get there is through the power of forgiveness, which I'm going to talk about on another show because that's a whole call in and of itself. But right, even asking yourself, do you have somebody in your life right now who needs forgiveness? Who is it? And how much is it contracting you? How much is it actually pulling on your energy? People don't understand that forgiveness is massive in terms of abundance. Right? And even if it's forgiving yourself for perhaps being in circumstances or situations that didn't serve you, right? We need to do the work to let that energy go. It's like unforgiveness can be like a kink in your hose, and when you free it, boom, And there's a lot of misconceptions around forgiveness. Forgiveness is really coming back into alignment with your true self. We as humans don't really have the ability to forgive. The universe does. So we need the universe's help. Every time I have forgiven somebody, it has been with the universe's help. If you think that you're doing it by yourself or from your rational mind or from your own heart, you are mistaken. You need the universe to do it for you. Forgiveness is divine. I know it sounds like a cliche, right? It's a quotable quote, but it is very true. Forgiveness is divine. It comes from source energy. We don't really do it that well by ourselves. So really learning to be the person, like if I want to move into fifth dimensional energy, if I want to feel safer, if I want to feel more relaxed as a woman, I will learn what it takes to forgive. I will do the work of surrendering my ego to the divine so I can experience more freedom in my life and world. I can let go of the hurts. And how are you going to know? By the way you feel. If you feel relaxed, if you feel calm, if you feel anxious, there's probably emotions that you're avoiding. If you feel depressed, there's probably emotions that you're avoiding. They might be slightly different emotions, but there's parts of you that are looking to be witnessed. Excuse me. There's parts of you that are looking to be healed. When we have those experiences, when you're in a good frequency, you feel good, you feel relaxed, you feel like everything's okay, you feel calm, you feel peaceful, you feel like you can handle anything. You have enough energy to focus your attention on where you want it to go, rather than living in that deluge of kind of going, everything's going wrong. You have the ability to pull yourself back into flow easily, effortlessly, and to trust that the universe is there. And I know for a lot of people, right? Trust is a big one when it comes to the universe. Oh yes, the pursuing and pushing is tiring. Yes, absolutely, Lisa. Right? It's an old, outdated, and this is a beautiful thing though. I don't think it's wrong, right, to come from that masculine energy initially, but I think as women we get to a point where we're like, I want to do this differently. I want to work energetically smarter, not harder. I want to relax and to flow. I want to experience luxury, right? I want to experience that abundance. I want to feel that. I want to celebrate that. I want to create more of it. And what's the secret to all of this? Creating it for other people. If you can create for them, right? What is it that you're offering? Are you offering luxury? Are you offering beauty? Are you offering joy? Are you offering hope? Are you offering a solution? Are you offering faith? Are you offering freedom? What is your offer? More than likely, it's what you're looking to experience yourself. That's why I called my first business Find Your Bliss, because that's what I was looking for. I wanted to find my bliss. And it's so powerful when you choose that for yourself and you choose to give that to others, you will experience it. You will experience it. It is the law, universal law. What it is that you give, you will receive. It might not come back from the people that you expect it to, but it will always come back to you. And this is why our relationship with source energy is so important, right? Because also too for women, right, historically speaking, and this is a hangover from the church, guess what? Most people attribute God as being masculine. So we want to actually, where does that put us as women? Automatically, kind of on the back foot. It's like, actually, we want to take sex away from God or the goddess. It is oneness energy, but what does it take for us to activate that divine feminine, have that experience of the divine feminine, so we can experience more of that in our life and world, especially as women? Because often this has been taken away from us, and you can see how it's happened, right? If we go into a bit of that history in regards to the church, of course, you think about it, one of the most powerful forces on the planet is sexual energy, right? For both men and women. But a woman in her sexual energy is an amazing creator, right? A woman in her sexual energy can create the miracle of life. Birth, right? She can grow and birth a child. That is miraculous. That makes her incredibly powerful. So often what happened, and historically speaking, is that power and that light and that energy was kind of captured through the church, through control, through the patriarchy, through shame and guilt often, through branding and labeling. Even talking about this makes me mad because I know I probably still have historical energy from past lives on it. Anybody who can identify with being burnt at the stake as a witch, right, which I think all women do on some level, right, because we've been muzzled, we've been held back in regards to our expression, we've been held back in regards to our light, it's been controlled, it's been seen as being powerful, so therefore it's been controlled. There's been energies of we'll take that, or we'll control that, or and if you're out of control, then you will be controlled through shame and guilt, repression, depression, which is incredibly unjust, but it's a woman's job to come back. And again, often what can activate some of this energy is anger. Right? We can be in those energies of, I'm not going to be controlled by that energy anymore. I'm going to be the person who activates and embodies not just her masculine, but also her feminine to be able to go out and feel safe. Because again, if you can identify with having to have a defense mechanism, that doesn't really feel that open. What feels really good in feminine energy is receptivity. Everybody wants to feel received. Everybody wants to feel accepted. Running that energy of being received and accepted in your body, that means you are open. And if you have fear in your body, fear of being attacked, fear of having your light stolen, fear of, not having what it takes, self-judgment, it's going to close your energy down. It's not going to make it so safe for you to be out there and for you to be seen. Again, what's the solution? To keep on bringing love frequencies in your body. Love melts away fear. It is the opposite of fear. What is the antidote for love or heartbreak? It is more love. And again, through your relationship with source energy. Your relationship with source energy needs to become your highest priority for everything to fall into place. And again, how do we access the universe? One of the fastest ways really is through forgiveness. So we will talk to that next week, folks, in regards to shifting the energy inside of you. Because we all want to feel safe in our body as women. We want to feel safe about making some serious money. We want to feel safe about making some serious money so we can do good things with it, not just for ourselves, but also for our community, for the world, for other people. We want to step into our power to be able to realize that, the pursuit of wealth too is a noble cause, because it's not necessarily, if you're looking at it energetically, it's not necessarily about the money that you create, it's the person that you become to hold the vibration of that frequency of abundance. So it's a very different proposition from just going, I want to be rich. Right? It's like I want to become the person who can hold the vibration of massive abundance so I can have that experience for myself and for others. Like I said before about the abundance, it is being able to be in the energy of it. Right? And again, that requires all the inner shifts. We need to keep on connecting to that divine feminine energy. What does it feel like if you're just tuning into it now, like a higher frequency of energy that feels open, natural, safe, supportive, easy, accessible, like you're completely accepted, that you're totally nurtured, that it's safe to relax. Right, that you don't need to have any of that central nervous system kind of on hyper alert or vigilance. You can just relax into being more and more and more open. And also too, can you see how it's important to have the masculine and the feminine? That masculine to help you hold a bigger space, to feel safe and confident in yourself that you can actually make things happen, and then to be able to receive it, to receive people into your life and world. If you're an intuitive coach, a guide, etc., who's often who I work with, an entrepreneur, do you have space to invite people into your world? Even for clients, Now, why do I say this, folks, too? Because no matter what business you're in, you're actually going to know immediately. Because if you are tired, if you are stressed, if you are tapped out, if you're not filling your own cup, you'll probably feel like no. Or if you are overriding what you need, your body, your self-care, there might be part of you that's your body's going no, but your mind's going, but I have to do this, right? I have to do this to make money. You need to unravel that to shift a more divine feminine energy. Divine feminine means that, again, somebody sent me this. I think it was Pip, actually. She sent me, let me see if I can look it up. And it was so beautiful, and I get lovely messages like this all the time. I'm so grateful for this kind of thing. But again, to learn that the part of the process, right, is to move into a space where you realize that relaxation is imperative. What does it say? Hustle with a line crossed through it, and it says align. Destroy the idea that you have to be constantly working or grinding in order to be successful. Embrace the concept that rest, recovery, and reflection are essential parts of the process towards a successful and ultimately happy life. People don't realize this. If you are at a place where you're kind of like tapped out, I don't know what to do next, take some time to rest. Put it on your calendar, I'm going to rest. And what happens when you rest is things can integrate. So I've actually rested quite a lot since my launch to allow things to integrate. Because there is a season, right? There is a time and a season for everything, and we need to allow energy to be reintegrated. I feel a little bit like this year for me I've been a little bit like a meerkat. You know those meerkats that kind of sit up and their head pop up against over the prairie, and they're really curious and they look around and look at stuff. For me, that's what it's felt like in terms of going to another level of abundance, but also to going into another level of awareness. You know, and that's what the divine feminine's always seeking to do. Why? Because it's all about connection. You know, as women, we thrive on connection. We thrive on unity. We thrive on coming together as part of a tribe or a posse. You know, that's our thing. That's how we love to, you know, we get a huge sense of fulfillment, being seen, being witnessed by other women, learning how to trust other women. This is imperative. So this is another aspect, right, of the divine feminine. We need to heal ourselves and our lineage so we can be in the energy of acceptance with other women. Who has ever felt intimidated, hurt, betrayed by other women? Yep. Pretty much everybody you know, right? Because if you've got a mother or a sister or a friend or a classmate or a work colleague or a boss, you can guarantee at some point in time there has been an interaction which has probably contributed to you feeling wounded. So we need to heal those wounds so we can learn what it is to trust each other. That was the beautiful thing about Intuitive Mastery on the weekend, right? Because I know that I'm running the energy of trust for the community of women, but they're coming into our environment with all their previous experiences. But I'm holding this container, right, where you can trust yourself and other people immediately. Because I'm creating this container, right? This is where you come in to be able to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to be open-hearted. Those are all qualities of the divine feminine that we want to activate within ourselves. And ultimately, the process is really a lot about letting go of the masks, letting go of anywhere we think that we need to perform, letting go of anywhere we think that we're not good enough just as we are, anywhere we're putting that pressure on ourselves to be more intelligent or to achieve more or to get more rational world results. You know, like so many times people have come to me and they've like, oh, I've got to study, or I've got to do this, or I've got to achieve more. And all this pressure people put on themselves when they just drop into their innate knowing they would have the answer that they need to create the outcome that they desire. Why does anybody study? Because they think that it's going to bring them an outcome that they want. Again, this is where we start doing things like timeline jumping, where we can go, what is the feeling of the end result that I'm looking to achieve? And how do I collapse the time frame so I can experience that now and then manifest energetically to that vibration? I can start calling in what it is from the vibration that I'm looking to obtain, embody, assimilate. And we can do this all the time, which is why if you make $100,000 in a year, you can collapse the time frame and go, what's it going to take to make it in a month? What's it going to take to make it in a week? What's it going to take to make it in an hour? And you might even feel in your body as I'm saying that where your resistance comes in, where your rational mind kicks in and goes, oh, that's not even possible. Or your body might start going, oh, that's a bit too much. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. That means there's a limiting belief in the way. Because again, if you go back to the universal perspective, the universe doesn't have any limitation. We need to align with the universe to get into that space where we can embody that limitless energy, to feel safe enough to be open, especially as women, to be able to bring it in. To feel safer and safer about receiving more and more and creating bigger and bigger containers so we can hold space for more people for the transformational process to occur. Whatever it is that you're offering, you're still offering a container of energy. And this is a big thing as well. If you are in business, you need to see yourself separate from your business. Your business has its own energy. It has its own frequency. It has its own awareness. You need to make sure that the container for your business is growing and expanding, because you are the leader of your business. You're the one who's actually putting the energy in. You're the one who's raising the vibration. You're the one who's running the ship, so to speak. So your vibration is going to directly impact your business. You're the leader. And you're showing, you're asking your business. And how do we do this? We start asking ourselves questions about, well, who is my ideal client? What are they doing? What do they need help with? How am I going to support them into the next evolution? What's that going to feel like for both of us? Right? And start focusing your attention on that. And of course, all those things that they're happy to pay me, that they pay me on time, that they feel good about that they'd be happy to pay me 3 times more from what they receive, right? Starting to ask yourself some more energetic questions in regards to getting clear, because of course, right, the universe always delivers the order on clarity. You don't go to the coffee shop and ask for a coffee, you ask for a decaf mocha, right? Or whatever it is that you drink. You need to get more specific to say, this is what it's going to feel like. This is what's going to happen. This is the level of fulfillment that's going to occur. This is how easy it is. And of course, what happens is then that has a vibration and it has a knock-on effect. And when people go out into the world and they share what they've learnt with you, what they've experienced with you, then they'll share that from a place of joy and happiness. And other people will be like, whoa, I want some of that. So that's how you start attracting your ideal client, because you're choosing the energy and vibration. And this is why in your business, you constantly want to recalibrate. I'm always asking, always, and this is one of the best pieces of business advice that I could give anybody, is to constantly ask, how can I make this better? Right? How can I make my business easier? How can I make it less effortful? How can I make it more joyful? Asking those kind of questions, obviously who you're working with as your clients, again, right? And again, this is where we even need to start clearing within ourselves, anywhere we have limitations on experiencing joy. Oof. Right? To be in that space of like, what does it take to make it safe to experience joy, to be the person who is really a leader and puts themselves out there? Because who has that, right? Number one as well, often see that with people. Oh my goodness, I really want to be in business, but that means I have to put myself out there. And then all the litany of self-judgment comes up, right? Like, oh, I'm not attractive enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or, my thighs are too big, or my ankles are too small, or my hair color's wrong, whatever it is, right? We can just go into the long, like I'm too shy, or I'm an introvert, or, I've got the wrong clothes, or people are going to judge me, people are going to attack me, people are going to be mean to me. That is their perception of reality. And again, can you see how forgiveness might be handy in some of that, when people do maybe sometimes throw some of their crap your way in regards to how you deal with it? Are you going to take it personally, or are you just going to go, actually, that's not who I am. I'm an infinite being in a body, and perhaps this other person doesn't realize that about themselves. So it's easy for me to forgive them because they've just forgotten who they are. right? They've forgotten the truth of who they are. So I can actually see the truth of them, which is, and again, I get it, right? We all have people in our life and world that we feel hurt by, that we feel like, they should be apologizing to me, or, the ego can really make a really good story about it all, right? It can go, this happened, and the drama and the story can continue. But if you want to feel free, and if you want to experience more abundance, because abundance, remember, is a frequency and a feeling and a state of being. Abundance is not just cash in the bank. Abundance is being able to walk out the door and feel safe. Abundance is being able to be in nature and receive the energy and the love that is in the grass and the trees, and hearing the birds sing, and being in those quiet moments and knowing that the universe is all around you. That's true abundance. Knowing that the universe is with you all the time. That to me is abundant, right? And from that space, you can manifest cash. It's easy. It's just a side effect of being in that vibration. You can manifest freedom. You can manifest opportunities and resources and love and joy and anything that you could ever want. But it's about coming into alignment with the way that the universe is, rather than staying stuck in our ego and being stuck in the energy of unforgiveness, or I can't get over this, I can't let it go, I can't surrender and release to my higher power because I'm being stubborn, or it serves me in some way to feel stuck. Right? It serves me because maybe I'm frightened that if I let go of this defense mechanism that I'm going to get hurt again. Right? Unfortunately, the only person who's really hurting us is ourselves. And that's a high level of accountability. We're prepared to take that level of accountability and actually go, you know what? Yeah, I can shift this. I am totally capable of shifting this through my connection to source energy. The universe is really genius on a lot of levels. You think about it. You got money problems. Where does that invariably lead you? Really, it leads you back to God or the goddess, right? It leads you back into exploring higher meaning. It's like, really? Is my life just about making money? No, of course it's not. I used to ask myself that question all the time. There must be more than this. And of course there was, and that opens up your relationship to the goddess, right? When you're, when you're in unforgiveness, when you're in pain, it all leads you back to the goddess. So focus your attention there. Focus your attention on the divine. What does it feel like to be connected to the divine? Often, a lot of the times, we can have shame and guilt about the fact that we haven't been tuning in. We can feel like I'm not good enough to talk to the goddess, right? Why would the goddess be interested in me? The goddess adores you. The universe literally wants to make love to you. Again, even sexual energy is source energy. There is no separation. It is life force energy. It came from the universe through into your physical body. So that's how powerful you are. When you know how to direct energy in a way that serves you, you will blow your mind in terms of what's possible, in terms of creation. And the beautiful thing about it is you just get to wake up every day and continue to play with these energies. So what does it feel like to set up a divine feminine ritual where you're adoring yourself, or little things like I have this thing where I just get some essential oil and I put it in moisturizer, and then I put it on my legs and my body and I rub it in with loving intention. Right? I love my body. I love my divine temple. I love being connected to source energy. Blessing yourself, connecting into the universe, asking questions, of course, developing your intuition. Because when you're in your intuition, right, you're safe. You're relaxed. You're getting the information from spirit, not your rational mind. So that means you can collapse timeframes. It means that you can step into more abundance right now. You don't have to trek to the Himalayas and be there for 3 years to experience or understand what it is to manifest more abundance. You can learn what it takes to run the energy in your body now and have that experience sooner rather than later. Thanks very much for tuning in, folks, on Facebook. It's always great to have you. If you want to listen to the rest, we've got about 10 more minutes to go. 96.9 here in Plains FM in Canterbury. Otherwise, you can catch the rest of the podcast on iTunes or Spotify. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Sending you so much love. Folks, today we have been talking about tuning into your divine feminine. And it's really interesting too, because I think there are a lot of women who are really ready to experience their business from the feminine, right? And again, the ease, the grace, the comfort, the joy, the levels of attraction, the effortlessness, being able to put an intention out there and have people respond and therefore be attracted to what it is that you're offering. You kind of need to empty yourself out, right? If you are a full cup, you can't invite people into that energy. And this is often where the ego gets in the way. I often see it where people are, they're talking about themselves a lot in their business. And of course, right, it can be really personal, but your business is not you. Your business is a separate entity. So we really want to be in that space of creating more space in our business, making our container bigger so we can invite more people in. A really great question if you're working with a guide or a coach or anybody, especially doing personal development. Does this person have space to love me? Right? Will this person keep me in a safe container? What is the foundation like in their container? Is it safe for me to step into this space? And you are going to know this on an intuitive level, right? Your body will have a response to it. Your wisdom and guidance will be showing you. This is the thing, folks. When people start working with me, it is often prearranged, right, between my guides and their guides. So when they pop up, so to speak, and it literally is like that sometimes, where people just pop up out of nowhere. I've just started working with a lovely gentleman, and he was like, I don't even know how he found me. Like, I did ask him, and he said, on the internet or something. And again, like, even at the time, having the awareness that his guidance and my guidance, they came together because it was a match. There was part of him that knew on some level that I could help him, support him. That happens all the time with clients. And again, what you'll start to see is those patterns, your soul tribe. You're activating your soul tribe. You are starting to run the energy of your planetary mission, right? To come to the earth plane and to support other people and to make the impact, to be on point on your mission to create what it is that you came to create. Especially as a light worker, right? For the light workers who are listening to this, you'll resonate with this because you're like, yeah, I want to help other people. Start being very aware of the container of what you're offering. How big is it? How many more people can you actually literally take in to your container? And be very aware about it. Where are your limitations in regards to how much you can receive financially? Where's the fear energy? Because often for women too, right, it's like, oh, are other women not going to like me if I'm really abundant? Am I going to lose my friends? Is there going to be dissonance in this situation because I'm choosing abundance and maybe people around me aren't choosing it the same way? We really have to be supersonically aware all the time of what's going on, because we don't want to shrink to fit, folks. We want to expand like the universe does. We want to, and again, there is nothing sexier than a woman, and ask any guy, because guys notice this stuff all the time, but they don't necessarily directly speak to it. And I'll give you an example. I did a speech once at BNI, and I was talking about how when men give women a compliment, and it literally often bounces off, right? Like a guy will say to a woman, wow, you look amazing. And that woman, because she's not open in all of her chakras, right? Her heart, solar plexus, sacral, and her root especially, right? The deepest parts of us, the parts of us that make us feminine, it will often bounce off, right? A woman will say, oh, do I? Or, oh, she might say thank you, but she hasn't taken it all the way into her body. So practice this, folks. If you have a beautiful person in your life who's giving you compliments, especially a guy, right? Do you take it all the way into your body? Because guess what? They can tell. Right? It's so funny because doing this speech, and I said talking about this, and there was a bunch of guys at the back of the room, and they all kind of started sniggering because they knew exactly what I was talking about. They knew that what it's like to give a woman a compliment, a gift, and have it not be received. And again, if the universe is trying to bring you abundance and you're not open to receiving it, and this is often where we need to clear our wounding on what we have received previously and it's been rubbish, or where we have had a boundary smashed, or where somebody's taken advantage. I was listening to, I'd recommend you guys go check it out too. I follow Dax Shepard, who's an actor. He's 12 years sober now, I think, and he has a podcast called Armchair Expert. And he was actually interviewing Jill. I've followed Jill for years. I remember going and seeing her in concert in London. Love her, kind of folk singer, amazing music, beautiful, very, she speaks to the emotion for sure. But listening to their interview and, all her experiences, even as a child, and having men really direct and kind of aggressive sexual energy towards her, because she's a beautiful woman, and again started singing when she was like 5. So she had, intense sexual energy direct towards her as a child, and how she said she learned, right, not to take it personally. But also at the same time, right, we need to learn what it takes to really bring in awareness so we can bring healing and balance. Because if you're a woman and you've experienced pain, hurt, rejection, abandonment, we can hold these energies in our body, and it makes it really difficult to be open to receiving abundance, receiving love, receiving sex, right? All of those things. So we really want to be the person who's going, okay, where am I not open? Where am I not open in my heart? Who needs to be forgiven? Where am I not open in my sacral? Who needs to be forgiven? Where am I not open in my root chakra? Who needs to be forgiven? There are 3 things actually that come to mind that need to be forgiven, apart from other people. Yourself, money, right? Anywhere you feel like money has let you down, that's also a good thing to forgive. Yourself, but also the universe. 9 times out of 10, it comes back to your relationship either with yourself or the universe, because the universe is within you. You are the universe. There is no separation. So yes, you have a body, but you are the universe. You're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts. You are the energy within that, right? When you leave your body, you do not die. The energy continues. Your body just ceases to exist. You are that soul spirit frequency. And we need to learn what it takes. If we want to be happy, if we want to be free, if we want to be abundant, if we want to experience things that'll blow our mind, then we start working with these universal laws and frequencies, and we open ourselves up, especially as women. Right? Open root chakra, ladies. Open sacral chakra. Open solar plexus. And people can tell, right, whether you're open or not. So, what does it take to let go of the fear? That's where the work comes into play. That's where we need to develop our own intuition to see where we're stopping or blocking ourselves. We need to ask the questions. We need to do the self-inquiry. We need to forgive. We need to allow ourselves to be free. So, and again, especially in regards to your business, are you creating a container that's loving and kind and supportive? Are you checking your own ego? Are you allowing yourself to be led by spirit? Are you allowing the divine feminine to come in, being open? And again, when you're in the divine feminine, you don't need to push. You don't need to struggle. You don't need to grind. You don't need to go out of your center. You can stay still and attract. And it takes so much less effort and energy. And it takes courage to practice it, especially if it feels unnatural, because your rational mind will probably go, you need to do this, right? You need to do this, right? You need to do this. Only thing you probably need to do in those circumstances is sit down and be still and listen to God, right? Listen to the universe. Listen to what the universe has to say about your rational mind telling you that you need to do anything. Because the universe, I've done this before. I put a Facebook post up about this a while ago, about how I had a nap, right? I literally was tired. I was working during the day, obviously, and I was like, and I asked my body, what is it that I need? And the answer was actually a rest. I need a nap. So I had a nap, right? I followed my guidance. I didn't follow my rational mind, which would have quite happily said in that moment, you should go and do this and this and this and get organised. Okay, so I had a nap, woke up from the nap, and 2 people had emailed me, right? 2 new clients. So that's how to manifest from the feminine, to be in that space of I'm going to follow my guidance no matter what. I can relax, I can trust in the universe, I can create strength in my relationship with the divine, so I can be the person who relaxes into that. Folks, if you want to join the tribe, please do come over to Facebook and find us on Intuitive Life Academy, or go to RebeccaDavison.life and you can sign up for the newsletter there. You can get a meditation which can activate excuse me, your future self, in terms of bringing in those light frequencies and tuning into what it is that you wish to create. As always, I am sending you so many blessings, lots of love, light, and I hope you're taking good care of yourself. Know that you're loved and know that you are divine. Lots of love, folks. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.